Lightning cracks, moves at max. It's movie night. The gang's all here, grip with fear. More horror films, alright. From bad to worse and worse to shit, you'll beg to fucking quit. Malevolent Movies has arrived in stereo now, nowhere to hide.
Hey, welcome everybody to the inaugural episode of Malevolent Movies, the podcast. Or you could call it Malevolent Movies 2.0. Either way, we're trying this new way to deliver you content in a quicker manner, but still keep the razzle dazzle that you've come to expect over the years. This is a podcast version of Malevolent Movies. I am Ryan, as always, and Tyler, who is our producer, our man at arms, the man behind the curtain, if you will. He is also here, and he would like to say a few words as we begin to set sail on this new endeavor.
Editing is hard. It takes a long time. To make good content, I have to sit on my ass for 300 hours to produce an episode of fucking Fluebirds that those goddamn motherfuckers over in fucking Turkey or whatever are trying to take down that video. Anyways, so long story short, you guys already know this if you're actually fans of the show, that it takes a while to edit these episodes, even longer when people fuck with the shit. So I don't remember, whose idea was it originally? We got Trevor, Joe, and Nick in the room. Whose idea was it to do the podcast?
I don't know.
It was Trevor's idea.
Whose
It was
fault
my idea.
was it?
That's
the real question.
Not mine then.
Well, the man with no brain has been doing so well.
Yeah.
Mainly because of Ryan and Joe and their hilariousness and also
we try.
their emotion. But anyways, it's been doing great. We see that people are interested. And I want to provide more content to you, so we thought a podcast version would be great. And at this point, we're planning on dropping 2 episodes a month. These will not take the place of the classic Malevolent Movies video show. It's just, it'll take 2 months to release an episode. So you might only get 6 a year, but hey, you'll get, 24 of these a year. So that's great. So anyways, it's going to feel a little bit different. Nobody's in character. Nobody's, Joe's not in character.
I'd say we have other characters?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I think Dr. Erlenmeyer we could have on.
Yeah, we might have a puppet on at some point. We'll try and make it different.
That'll be great content.
You'll have to take our word for it that it's a puppet.
The puppet that just screams.
But the main thing is that we're going to try and mix it up a little bit. 1 episode a month is going to be devoted to indie films, similar to the things that we've made, so we might have some insight. Today, I have the honor of bestowing upon you Sleepy Hollow High and the dishonor of forcing my friends to watch it.
Yeah.
And then the second episode of the month will be devoted to something that was theatrically released or had a wide release, or maybe is just more known in popular culture, but is probably equally as bad as Sleepy Hollow High. So, which is today's episode. Sorry if I spoiled that, took your thunder, Ryan.
No, by all means.
Oh, it'll be in the title.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's all I had to say. I hope you guys like this. I hope you listen, and please look forward to more. Can't even remember the name of the show. Malevolent Movies, Malevolent Matinee, Midnight Miss Mysteries, Clash of the Commentaries, and we have an episode of Joe's Fireside Chat that'll come out at some point.
Yeah. All right. So as you heard, the movie that we decided to kick things off with on this new version is a 2000 release called Sleepy Hollow High. And this was something I had never heard of before. This is a brand new title to me. I did some quick cursory research on the movie. I found out supposedly, all right, the movie was shot in 1995. At least that's what it kind of said on the internet. I'm not sure if I totally believe that, because it does feel like it was created in the wake of Scream, and there's even a kind of a reference to Scream without saying the movie in Sleepy Hollow High. But nevertheless, it was a very low budget affair, $16,500, estimated $2,000. It would have, or $2,000 for inflation, it would have cost $24,800 today. So essentially, these guys were working with a good-sized budget back in late 90s to make this independent film, Sleepy Hollow High. And I will read the back of the DVD.
Joe, Ryan, I have one question for Joe. Joe, you recently purchased some edibles. Did you get high while watching Sleepy Hollow High?
No, I didn't do that. No, I figured it might be good, but I decided, no, I'll come here sober.
No, I meant when you watched it.
No, I didn't do that.
Oh,
no.
yeah, because you watched it 10 minutes before you got here?
Well, I did. Yeah, I wanted to do my research. Yes.
I mean, yeah, I can't bust Joe too hard. I finished it up about 20 minutes ago.
Damn.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. I'm glad you watched it, both of you. I honestly, Ryan, I was worried you were going to turn it off.
It was bad.
If I would have been watching this by myself, it would have been turned off within 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would have not have ever made it through this thing if it wasn't for this fucking show.
A thought that kept playing through my mind as I watched this was why would anybody continue to watch this after the first 5 or 6 minutes? Because there's nothing new under the sun with this movie. There's nothing good. I just kept thinking, if I wasn't going to be recording this, I would not be sitting here watching this. I found absolutely no benefit.
Now
No benefit
to give some context for why I chose this, I watched this 10 to 12 years ago with a group of friends, and I remember laughing a lot. And hey, maybe we were dumb and we all had a lot of Mountain Dew in us and were really hyped up and anything was funny to us. Entirely possible. It was not that enjoyable the second time around, although there are some poorly made bits that are funny.
Now, Tyler,
Nick was there.
I was there that fateful day.
You were the only one here.
I don't remember it the way you remember it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
Tyler probably had a really
I
good
could have
time.
saved us some time. I think my favorite part is when your dad came down to tell us to shut up. But
Stop watching that Gentle Lantern movie.
It's fitting that I have. If I search my memory, I'm pretty sure that watching Sleepy Hollow High was one of the first interactions I had with Tyler when I got to meet him, and it's just fitting that this movie's also bookending one of the last times I ever hang out with Tyler.
Well, okay. So you were warned. You were warned then, and you stuck around. So
Yeah.
that's on you.
You know what?
You're
I mean,
right.
I've got a story. One of the first times I met Tyler outside of filmmaking, he invited me over to his house to watch. It was Thanksgiving 3 with like some weird puppets and all that kind of nonsense. I think that's a reoccurring theme of
Yeah.
Tyler inviting people over to watch bad movies that scar them.
But everybody's sticking around.
Yeah.
Everybody's sticking
Yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah.
That's how I've made friends. They're not good friends, but they're friends.
My car broke down. I can't get home.
Oh, come on inside. We're going to watch Sleepy Hollow High.
When you go fishing with shitty bait, you get shitty fish.
That's right. But those shitty fish will never leave you.
Well, so anyways, I am very sorry. From now on, I will watch the movies before I select them. I have selected the next episode, or that movie for the next episode. I'm very excited about it because I'm surprised at how many of you guys have not seen it. I sent out a little survey of the list of theatrically released films that I expected you guys to have seen most of them, but I was surprised at how, apparently
I think I'd only seen one.
the early to mid 2000s were not an exciting period for you guys in horror. So
One of those I have watched. I just don't remember it. So it felt
yeah, that's
wrong to say that I knew it.
all right, sorry, Ryan, you can go ahead and introduce the world to Sleepy Hollow High.
All right, here is what it says on the back of the DVD or VHS of Sleepy Hollow High. Terror graduates when 5 delinquent classmates must perform community service at Sleepy Hollow Park grounds, a place notorious for vandalism and many unsolved disappearances. As the afternoon unfolds, the students began to realize that someone is taking the legend of Sleepy Hollow too far and that everyone is a suspect, from the teachers and counselors of Sleepy Hollow High to their fellow classmates and each other, even the possibility of the legendary Headless Horseman himself. 90 minutes, color. And on the back of the it says something interesting. On the DVD, it says, this DVD disc is formatted for worldwide use, which is a very fancy way of saying, it's region free. But they didn't want to say that. They
Down at the bottom,
wanted to know.
guaranteed superior quality.
No, I was gonna say it's weird that the DVD says it's 90 minutes because the cut I watched was 120.
Yeah, me too.
Even,
It's true.
So,
Yes, I don't think there's another version of this. So
I
10
think minutes just might have let missing, or the DVD lied. I don't know.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was counting those
maybe
minutes.
that's why they put it there, is to surprise you like pleasantly when it's 10 minutes shorter than it advertises.
It's like when the teacher's like, you guys can go early.
Yeah, it's fine.
Get out of here.
Now, the writer and director of the film, there's 2 writers, Kevin Summerfield and Chris Arth, directed by Kevin Summerfield, and Kevin Summerfield also plays the teacher that is supervising this
Mr.
activity.
Is it Summerfield or Slummerfield? Because when I kept reading the credits, I there's a strange font, and I just have a note here, Slummerfield?
Well, I mean, perhaps because he made a movie that wanted me to go to sleep. So,
Yeah, everybody was snoozing in the theater after the credits rolled.
I hope this didn't play in theaters.
See, that's the question I had. Where? Just where? Where did this play anywhere? Is this a Butch of the Baker scenario where 5 people saw it?
Here's the interesting thing. I'm basing this off IMDb. So this Chris Arth and Kevin Summerfield. This was the first movie they made, but then after that they went on to do shit. Nothing like that's well known,
major.
But like Kevin Summerfield, like immediately after, just started producing these like kids movies, Operation Dalmatian, Max Magician, and The Legend of the Rings, which I think I saw.
Did you
as a kid?
And I want
Max Magician. That sounds familiar.
Oh, well, the cover. I mean, it came out in 2001 because I wrote this down with a bit and circled it many times. This movie, Max Magician and The Legend of the Rings. The cover art is a combination ripoff of Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely.
It's totally. And it came out in 2001, so it was a perfect. Now I question if it came out since it came out right then at the same.
Wait, are you saying Sleepy Hollow High did?
No, Max Magician and the Legend of the Rings.
Okay.
Max Magician came out October 1st, 2002.
Okay,
so
2002.
I would imagine they started filming January 1st, 2002, after Lord of the Rings Harry Potter came out.
So,
oh my God, I remember seeing this like at Family Video.
Yes, and
on the shelf.
That's where we got it. Was that Family Video?
So you didn't watch this as like a child in 2000?
He would have been 13,
I was talking
14.
about Sleepy Hollow High was what I found.
I mean, I'm sure Max Magician is in every family video in the country.
I mean, he's probably right.
Yeah, probably.
And
we should watch that.
He's in every home.
It's in the 3 Childs DVD section.
He's here right now. He's our guest. Max, come on out.
Hey, there I am.
He's very sick.
I'm here.
Time has not been kind to him. Well, it's funny that like I said, the movie I found somewhere it said it was shot in 1995. I question that for more than one reason now. One, it was because at one point in the movie, later on we'll get to a character, the girl, one of the actresses says, "Hey, where's the other actress?" And I
believe that.
I'm trying to figure out how to word this. And another character says, "Well, maybe you guys were in cahoots together, like in that movie," which the two killers working together is the end of Scream. This is a slasher movie that came out in 2000. To me, that was a reference to Scream. And then the fact that the movie references Sleepy Hollow, and we know that Kevin Summerfield likes to rip off popular stuff, I feel he started shooting this movie right around the time that Sleepy Hollow was making the rounds. So
because they went hard for like a couple years. Like basically it looks like up until 2005. And then maybe the gig was up because they have an Adventures of Young Van Helsing.
Young Van Helsing, the famous one.
What does it say on the box? It says Dawson's Creek meets Scream? Is that what it...
for Sleepy Hollow High, yeah.
That's what a reviewer for Femme Fatale magazine said.
Yeah, I mean, is there like any slasher before Scream that pulls the two killers reveal that they could be referring to, or no?
I'm sure there is.
I mean, it could have also taken 5 years to make this movie. That also doesn't seem insane to me.
I think the reason why we keep coming up with 1995 is because there's a bench. I noticed.
It says class of 95.
Yeah, but you don't while you're in school, you don't put a bench up of your own class.
Exactly.
So I have to assume that it was probably
that would be up for
not
like
far
a
off
week
from 2000.
at the end of the school year.
But I mean, I looked this up on the internet, and everything says this was shot in 1995.
Yeah, I got it from Internet Movie Database.
I feel like, but. Joe Buckley updates IMDb.
Well, I do.
So,
I have an IMDb account, and I update information.
I feel like
that's why
anyone could have just...
Well, this movie was either made in a weekend or over 5 years. Like that, I only believe one of those two things.
Yeah, and I'm going to think it was shot in 99 is what I'm going to say. Late 99 is probably when it was shot. And it officially came out at some point in 2000.
Ryan, you were. I mean, you're older than us. You were more conscious of things in '95.
Oh, yeah.
Were computer hackers that big of a deal in '95? Because there's a
when did hackers come out?
There's a very silly line.
99.
I have that written down under
your reputation as a computer hacker precedes
under
you.
low budget bingo. I have computer hacker reference.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, Hackers did come out in 95, and then
Okay.
was it 96 that
remember.
The Net came out with Sandra Bullock?
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
see.
even before that, like War Games was like a big thing with
Yeah,
hackers.
but that's a totally different. I don't know if anyone uses the phrase computer hacker in war games.
Oh, The Net is also 95.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I guess so. I guess that would have been prime. July 25th. We just missed the anniversary.
Oh,
Damn.
So yeah, the whole idea.
Let's all go home watch The Net.
If I was in high school in the mid 90s there, and yeah, computer hacker was this generic term of somebody that in a TV show or a movie sits down at a computer, types a bunch of stuff, and can get into a database of.
Well, if they could just turn the computer on, they
Yeah, I
were
was going to say
hackers.
somebody who knew how to use a computer.
But you have to understand, the internet, at least in the Illinois Valley, the internet wasn't a thing that people had in 1995
Yeah.
in their house.
No, let me tell you, DOS boss is scary.
Even my high school didn't get it until until like 90, 97. Did we start playing around with email and stuff? So, the concept of a computer hacker, that was some cool idea, some Mission Impossible kind of shit. But it wasn't so nobody knew anybody that was a computer hacker. And nobody I knew self-identified as a computer hacker.
The point is that line does not pay off one ounce.
No, I wrote
You don't
it
even
down.
see a computer
There's
in
no
this
technology. Yeah.
No, they're in the woods.
Well, so what was everybody's first impression? Because, like, for people who didn't know what it was and maybe saw, like, they Googled it first, or Ryan, Trevor, and Joe. What were you guys
I got you.
thinking?
So the movie opens up with a 7 credit sequence. Is the only thing I could compare it to, and I was a little excited because it felt just a little bit like there was a little hey, they're kind of pulling this off. This kind of looks like a real movie.
Yeah, I mean the font.
I get it.
The
Sure.
font made it look like they were trying at least.
The font was a little weird, but it was a swing, and hey, they're not all going to be great.
I have a quote for something I said out loud alone in the house and wrote down.
Did it reverberate back at you?
Yeah, I can already tell the credits are going to be the best part of this film, and it's just someone cutting out paper.
And that was correct. That happens, and then there's that weird scene of that random woman jogging through the day for night woods.
Yeah, this is this is one of those blue movies.
Yeah.
This is a very blue movie.
Well, the opening anyway.
Yeah, and let me tell you, this is 10 years before Avatar, so they knew what was happening.
And I was still not sure really what truly smacked me in the back of the head and said, all right, this is going to be a terrible movie. And this is the kind of terrible movie it's going to be, is when you see the Headless Horseman for the first time, and he's wearing plaid pajama pants, and he's got some sword that you could buy at the mall.
Excalibur.
He's got something you could get at medieval times.
Yeah, something from the knife. You could've ordered
Nick also wrote down sword from the mall. Oh, Nick, I love you, bud. That's when I realized that, oh no, this is going to be bad. And I've heard Sleepy Hollow High as the title thrown around a lot between Nick and Tyler throughout the years. I wasn't at this fateful screening back in 2008 or 9 or whenever.
You could have stopped this.
I could. Maybe I'll time travel and undo all this. But yeah, that was kind of where I was at. I was a little excited for a few minutes, but thankfully that first scene brought me straight back down to earth. So.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw the shot of the woods, I knew it was gonna be just one of those movies where people walk in the woods and nothing happens.
See, I didn't think it was gonna be a woods movie. I thought, okay, one scene in the woods, it's a horror movie. Sleepy Hollow, there's gonna be some woods, fine. I didn't expect it to be a teens in air quotes in the woods movie.
It's barely even teens in the woods, though. It's teens in someone's wooded driveway.
Well, yeah,
that's the entire film.
It's 30-year-olds next to trees is what they should have called this.
Some of these people look older than us.
Well, that was
and they're playing teens.
Yeah, so
well, I've got ages if you'd like them.
Oh,
I got one age.
48.
I got Z's age down too.
Yeah, 27. Is that what you got?
Yes, yeah. He would have been around 27 years old.
He was 27.
Yeah, and so was Diana.
People just looked older back then.
The blonde-haired girl. I could not get the age of Z's girlfriend because they have the wrong person tagged on IMDb.
She's listed as the Jack Benny Show or something
her name is, I think it's Marla or Maria Cooper. It's Maria Cooper, but this is Maria Cooper Janis, who was born in 1937. So
that's
not quite right.
That's not Bob.
They had me going for a while.
But Jay was 24 when this was filmed. The taller,
the guy who's barely in it.
Yeah.
He's famous now. That guy, Matt Evers. If you look him up, he was on Dancing with the Stars, I think, or he was in the Olympic. He was a dancer in the Olympics, or
And he's done some casting direction for other projects.
Somebody else from this has too.
yeah,
Shannon, I think is her name.
Shannon, the lead. She's
a casting director now,
on some big
right?
movies. On some big movies.
Well, Shannon is the only one who was a teenager at the time. She was 18
Okay, so
when this was filmed.
she's the correct age,
And I
these are
believe
also
her performance.
But either way, she still looked like everybody else. Like I never would have guessed that she was the teenager.
yeah. Z's the worst one.
Oh, Fat Kanye.
Now might be a good time to point out that all of the men in this film have their name is just a single letter.
Yeah.
Z.
Z, Mr.
J.
E, J.
Yeah, that way you can tell them
yeah.
apart. They all look
who's
like
the
the
chubby
letters.
guy? What was his name?
Chubby. Justin, I think.
Justin. Yeah.
But he's
Yeah,
not part
let's-
of the main cast.
No,
Yeah, let's talk about Justin for a moment. For a moment. So the movie
he gets
has
the short end of the stick.
Definitely a student and not a teacher.
Well, the movie starts like there's an opening credit sequence where somebody is cutting out newspaper clippings of abductions, et cetera, which pissed me off when the movie was over because, again, I was paying very close attention to that opening credit sequence because I'm like, okay, they're giving me information I'm going to need for this movie.
There's
Abductions,
something about a blizzard
red
of
herrings.
96.
Yeah, they're talking about blizzards and elections and all this. Nobody ever talks about disappearances. Nobody ever talks about any of that until the very, very end. There's a terrible Hellfest style ridiculous button scene to tie it all up. But we'll get
Well,
to
and
that.
you know what? I looked it up and I read something that the entire opening was shot after the fact, like after the whole movie was done. I don't know if they mean the opening of The Girl in the Woods or the whole opening
Where
of
did you get this information?
It was like IMDb or
Joe's
Wikipedia or
best friends
something.
with the director. Oh, he's a
Definitely wasn't
He's a
Wikipedia.
family friend of
I've
the
added him.
Buckleys.
Yeah, I've added him on Facebook. I was questioning him. I was demanding to know why he made this.
Is it under
mean,
the
we-
trivia
we
maybe in
could.
IMDb?
It could have been.
Okay, I didn't.
Did you
I didn't
know?
look through that. Yeah.
The Wikipedia page has like nothing.
Well, they might have added that opening credit sequence, but they definitely the actor from the movie playing who's the superintendent or the principal or whatever he is with the bad British accent, he does come back at the very end. So, it could have been shot too much later, and this guy was involved in it.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're essentially saying that he was the killer all along, correct?
I think so.
Well, I think
but there
they're saying no
isn't
one
any
actually
killing.
got killed.
There's really only one, perhaps, death.
It doesn't change the outcome of the film at all. So
No, there's more than one death because I thought.
Well,
But it's all a dream.
was all a dream.
Well, like,
Spoiler
real
alert.
death.
shit!
Real
God
death.
damn it! I forgot about that. This movie fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's all a dream, and then like, but don't forget the kidnappings, the movie's done. Like, wait, what?
Which doesn't affect our leads one iota. Whether that's right or not, it does not.
it doesn't
never
affect our
affects them.
leads. It doesn't. It also doesn't.
It doesn't affect anybody.
Okay, so we had to stop the podcast for 2 seconds. But Ryan, we did discover that Justin, the chubby boy, Daryl Lazupone, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's an actor and musician from Maryland.
Okay.
So I think we're there. I think we're there.
So yeah, Justin, the way the movie opens, we get the opening credit sequence. We get a jogger in the woods. This woman is jogging in the woods, listening to music. It's dark out, and she's attacked and decapitated, or not decapitated. She's just attacked and lifted up and presumably murdered by a guy on a horse with a mask, a pumpkin head, a jack-o'-lantern mask, Sleepy Hollow style.
I wrote down tiger horse because the horse that startles her makes a very strange growling noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wrote down that I'm not sure how this girl got surprised by a horse because those things are like 1,000 pounds and they don't like move very quickly.
That is
in the
And
true.
she
woods.
almost
And they
gets hit
stink.
by a car though that makes
That
no
she also
noise,
like
so.
couldn't hear.
She's
Or she's listening to music because we do get a little radio.
Yeah.
banter.
Yeah, and the radio
So she's
guy
listening.
asks if the next song is going to be a trick or a treat, and I don't understand how that works. Like it's music.
Well, the
it's
trick
music.
is if it's this entire podcast.
Yeah.
So anyway, this woman is murdered, and then we cut to a guy with car trouble on the side of the road. If you would have put a gun to my head and said, guess an age range of this guy, I would have said 30 to 40.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like one of us.
And between the way he acts and the way he talks just like a dorky man, just like a nerd. And immediately he is accosted by a guy and a girl. And the reason that they are messing with him is because they said he's a snitch.
he's squealing to the teachers.
Squealing to the teachers. because of the way he looked, because of the way he acted. I assumed he was a teacher at the school. I assumed that he had told on these students to the principal, and that's why the students were getting revenge on him in this moment. It's not until later in the movie that we find out he is Justin, the, quote, scrawny kid from the school. And I was so angry, I paused the movie and sent a group message. I had to express it then. I couldn't wait another 20 minutes to start this.
Oh, yeah.
I just had to let it be known that I am super angry about
Wait,
the
that
casting.
guy with the car trouble at the beginning is supposed to be a student? I thought it was a teacher. Fucker looks 30. That's what you said.
That was my exact message.
And then I hate this.
Yeah.
He could just be a very old-looking boy. That's not his fault.
Plus
Like
just,
you.
Yeah.
People look older back then.
They all smoked. Yeah, all the carbon in the air.
Oh, you might be right.
So anyway, this guy, he is tied up, and he is a bag is put over his head with a smiley face on it, and these two characters, these two apparent high schoolers that will become two of our main characters, we find out Z, who is we previously talked about Z being 27 when they made this movie. He and his girlfriend Bobby are angry at this person because he's told on them. They've been selling drugs in the parking lot, and he snitched on them. So they are writing the word. He's just in his boxers, and they've got him tied up by his arms, the bag over his head, and they write the word snitch on his chest with chocolate sauce. And then they also put chocolate sauce all over his nipples and his armpit, and they're taunting him and saying, we're going to leave you here in the woods, and bugs are going to eat on you, and these woods are haunted, and this is basically revenge for being a tattletale.
It was a weird choice. I think, like...
Yeah, play with his nipples. He seems like
well, I
that.
think
that's
I
an
think they were
actual quote that
improvising
Z
that.
says. No, like... Food stuff is like gross in like the sexiest of contexts. So like I just can't comprehend like who, I don't know.
This is like some Roman shit.
Grosses me out in general, but oh god.
Yeah, they were treating this poor man like a Keebler elf.
But the scene just goes on and on because this is one of those movies where they just
gotta pad that runtime.
Show every detail because either they weren't given any direction or it's just
too
much work to make cuts in the film.
80-minute runtime tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, you just show every little
it's a
detail
long
of them
80 minutes.
opening up the chocolate and rubbing it on his body and writing this letter and this letter.
Well, she asked.
How do you spell snitch?
And I got so angry. I'm like, that's one of those words you can sound out. It's not a hard word. And it's just it was a device just to show how stupid these kids are, and they're just dumb delinquents. They can't even spell snitch, and I was just like, that's ridiculous.
Going back to Nick's point about things getting drawn out, there is a sequence involving those two, the couple, Z and is it Bobby?
Bobby.
Yeah. Z and
Bobby?
where we find out that Bobby is pregnant, but from Z, she is going to tell him. In the same sequence, I almost think it was just a take from a different angle. She goes to tell Z, and Z just wants some nookie, and he keeps going in, and she's like, no, Z, listen. Nah, and he goes in. No, Z, seriously, you got to listen. Nah, and then he goes in for more, and then eventually you start hearing twigs snap. She's like, wait a minute. He's like, nah, goes in again. And then eventually, like, something spooks him and they run. Well, that happens twice in the movie. Like, the exact same setup each time.
I feel like they probably in, God forbid, the script. I assume they had a script at some point.
The two
probably
writers.
were.
There's two credited
There probably
writers.
was. Yeah.
Took two people
the
to write
up-and-coming
this.
Coen brothers.
I felt like they probably did have two scenes like that, but they never got around to shooting the second one.
No, they just never got around to reading what they wrote, so they wrote the same thing twice and didn't realize it.
There's so much reusing of things, though.
Oh,
Like-
there's
There are
the
four
buses
buses after
shots
school.
of idling buses in this movie.
Yep, there's a lot of buses. There's a shot of the
shots of idling buses. There are 4 shots of idling buses in this movie.
yeah. There's that shot of the killer running through the woods, and he keeps swinging the sword around like
That's
he's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, just like
because he's cool.
Because the
There's a
stuntman
thing-
can do it, so he was like, "I'm going to
there's
do
a
it."
thing.
So we're going to
There's
get
a thing that happens when you have a sword in your hand. you twirl it around. You do the same motion.
yes.
Everyone knows what that exact
gotta play
motion
with it.
is, and that's the coolest thing that they could think to have this person
But
doing.
it
with
looked
this,
like he
this
had
small
to do
sword.
it like to propel himself.
Yeah, no,
He looked like he was Thor and he's trying to
Yeah, like an anime runner.
take off. Yeah, like he's in some anime.
No, I mean the thing I noticed is whenever you're shooting on 16 millimeter, I mean that gets expensive quick. So you got to use every single scrap frame of footage that you shot and stick it somewhere in this movie.
Yeah, and they were probably shooting with short ends, so they probably had all kinds of extra little bits. Well, they might as well shoot something. We have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
I'd like to talk about the filming of this while we're here, because it kind of comes across like I don't know, like a student film, like it seems like every trick in the book that you would learn in your freshman year of film school,
Yeah.
they apply to the film.
Yeah, this feels like a
So-
longer version of a lot of the shit that we watched.
yeah.
Are you trying to say that
Production one.
in film school you learn that the chance of you actually making something of yourself based on the things that you want to make are slim to none? So instead, just rip off of popular culture and do your best to make money off of that?
Absolutely.
Because to your point, I think that these guys made money off this movie because I watched it twice.
Yeah.
oh,
No,
yeah.
I
mean,
was-
it's
I
still
was
in circulation.
shocked.
It's on Amazon
was-
right now.
Shocked the first time that I saw this on DVD. Like, maybe I had higher expectations for how you can get something printed on DVD and put into a family video, but I was astounded that this was put in wide circulation, and I've seen it twice now. So they've done something, and
Yeah.
it seems like other people know what this is, except for Ryan, which I'm shocked. But
I had never ever heard of this, and during the time period where this came out, where this would have come out in 2000 at Family Videos and video stores, I was watching almost everything that was coming out, low budget stuff, mainstream stuff, anything I was coming out, I'd watch because it was big into independent film, and I liked the idea of these micro budget movies at that time because of technology. There wasn't so many like there are now, and I mean, there's one made almost every weekend. Somebody's making something, but at that time I was like, I'd watch almost anything. But this one I just must have walked right by it. I never had heard of this until now.
The cover is a jack-o'-lantern, which plays into the film because of the what's the actual character's name?
they just call him Pumpkin Head
Yeah,
Man or
it's
something.
like
Pumpkin
Ichabod
Man.
Crane.
No, but from Sleepy Hollow.
The Headless Horseman.
Headless Horseman, duh. But to me, it's like
Christopher Walken.
I even though I read Sleepy Hollow High, I still think Halloween, like
Well,
the
it's
original
set on
Halloween movie.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't
plus
this-
the movie set on Halloween.
Well, did we go over the quote? Did we say the quote yet on the cover of the DVD?
Oh yeah,
think so.
No.
Nick hit it. Scream,
Oh, okay.
Dawson's Creek.
Oh yeah.
What was the Dawson's Creek part? Shannon constantly being made fun of for possibly being suicidal?
Which
I got-
either that or just the fact that they are high schoolers and there's some woods. I
didn't
mean,
get Dawson's Creek.
at that.
I got Shitty Breakfast Club when they're meeting with the principal or whatever in the hallway at a table in the hallway. But no, not Dawson's Creek.
Where they're threatened with expulsion, or then
Yeah, from that.
But then it's in the next scene. It's there's gonna be no prom.
Yeah, from that dude that definitely ain't British.
No.
Oh, he has an indeterminate accent.
That actor probably just wanted to do that because there's no story reason for that character to have that accent. Now, some movies do that, but
Not ours.
Why now?
I'm just saying, there was no reason for this principal in Sleepy Hollow High to have an
To
accent.
talk like this, eh?
But he couldn't keep the accent. He was,
No.
I think
It's
he
very
said
hard to do.
but anyway, so they tie up this guy Justin, whatever. They're immediately caught by the cops. The cop just happens to walk by, and then
Are they caught by him? He just looks like he's watching them.
Well, he turns. Well, maybe he was watching because remember they turn around and there's lights in their face. And he goes, "Oh man!" And it's just this cop with a
I
mustache.
guess.
So I think, and which, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think charges are pressed. And the reason, what the vibe I got was that they were going to press charges if the principal didn't get this under control. So they were given a choice. You guys get this under
Okay.
control, and you do the community service for the rest of the year twice a week, which is a shit ton of community service. Probably more than they would have gotten if they just went to jail. You know, they might have gotten 80 hours or something for what they did.
You want another one?
Fuck you. No, that's a quote from Breakfast Club.
Thank you.
Oh, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're so that and this is when we get introduced. So Z is there, Bobby is there, and then we're also now introduced to the other three characters that are going to form this group. That's going to
names
go
don't
out in the
matter.
woods. And that's when we find out the one girl's a hacker, Shannon. She's a computer hacker, which doesn't matter because it's never returned to again. We find out that the only character had a full name.
Diana.
Diana. She had like a full name in the credits, a first and last name. I don't know why. She was the only character with a full name. Yeah, Diana. We find out that Diana's in trouble because she's been messing around with a teacher. There's allusions to that. And I'm not sure why Jay.
Jay has been like
Jaywalking.
he's been like stealing and selling things from the school.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. And
You want a number 2 pencil, kid?
He seems. I think that.
He's an entrepreneur, that young man.
Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with
Some of
Jay.
those
He
nice
seemed like he
Huey
didn't belong
erasers.
there.
Yeah, he definitely. It's like our films where you have to have like 5 leads and.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, people are gonna get bored.
Yeah, I mean, Grace's room. You needed to have all of those characters there.
Yeah. Listen, if you have 6 leads, you don't have to develop any of them.
Just
Well-
by the
So-
tickle fight that Jay and Z have in the back of the classroom, I just got the impression that
There was a
Maybe-
tickle fight.
yeah, no, that he's like
What?
doing this weird tickle thing with Z or something.
They're
I
the
don't
first
know.
I'm forgetting this.
But I just got the impression that Jay just has like trouble concentrating, maybe, and that's why he's there.
He just has ADD and he's going to get expelled for it.
They just
Yeah.
lumped him in because it
He
was
got a-
95, potentially.
He got
But
a
there was
raw
something
deal.
I wrote down is when they first get together that afternoon, because they sit at the table, they're told, look, you got to do community service twice a week for the rest of the year, or you're all expelled. So they're all seniors, no graduations, no blah blah blah, no future. And it starts today, and they're like, oh shit, like in an hour. Well, when they go to meet outside and they're in a group so they can be bussed to Sleepy Hollow Park where they're going to have to clean up and do the community service, they got to wait for Jay because he's in detention. So Jay's even bigger troublemaker than the rest of them because he's in detention for some other thing at that point.
I think Jay, maybe he doesn't have glasses and he can't see the board and it causes him to not focus. I think that there's something we can help Jay. Like he's not
get
a
him some
lost
specs.
cause.
Well,
Yeah.
you do realize that he's 44 now, right?
He got held back a lot. He's a very troubled student.
Do you think it'd be possible to get the funds together to make a sequel to Sleepy Hollow High where we pick up on Jay?
You know we could.
I
can't imagine it would cost too much.
Man. Jay, the guy who played Jay, went
Oh,
on to
that's
do
right.
some stuff. He's like an Olympian or something.
Yeah, he's an
He's a
Olympian.
figure skater or something.
He is. Matt Evers is his name.
Yeah, he's done some stuff like semi recently. I want to say Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, he's in Blades of Glory.
He was in Blades of Glory as a skate tree.
Yeah, he's a figure skater. He couldn't skate his way out of this movie, but or at least out of the credits. But he can.
Go over to his Wikipedia page.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
There he is.
Look at you, Jay.
He finally got.
So he
finally figured it out.
succeeded
Yeah.
So wait, why was he in this movie?
early on
Because he was
just starting
probably.
out.
Right place, right time.
Yeah, he probably just
How else
lived
is-
near the director, the casting director.
Yeah.
Was a handsome looking fella and
Well,
was like,
he was born in Minnesota.
well,
Yeah, how else is he going to afford those fancy figure skating lessons?
I mean, Joe's not.
It's not cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's not wrong here with this statement. But then we meet Mystery, Mr. E,
oh, Mr. E. Now, Mr.
and there's the
E.
big red herring in his trunk.
Kind of looks
Mr.
like Filthy
E.
Frank.
Wait, is Mr. E also like mystery?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
I didn't
E.
even-
Enigma.
Tyler,
I hate how dumb I am.
Tyler, you dumb.
I didn't catch it on
Shit.
my first watch, but I did on the one
Well,
tonight.
I was more distracted by the fact that the shirt that he's wearing under his jacket is like an advertisement for what I assume was Kevin and other guys' company, New Media.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
Because it's like, why is this teacher wearing like a fucking advertisement for apparently a low budget studio or something?
Why
Yeah.
was the teacher out collecting garbage with them? Why was he not supervising? I was kind of confused because it seems like he was also in some trouble and he had to.
Did you not listen to what
Well,
Shannon had to say?
he is in
Well,
trouble.
yes.
I mean-
it's we find out later on in the
Been
movie
sniffing around some kids.
that Mr. E is at Sleepy Hollow High, crappy, terrible high school, beneath his teaching skills because one, he's messed around with students. That's alluded to. But two, he got into a fight with a student, beat his ass. He's got a violent temper. And so
And I'll be
that's
honest,
why he's at Sleepy Hollow High.
I thought that reveal was pretty decent. Like, it caught my attention when I was not expecting that at all, because it's just him and Shannon sitting on a log. They're just chit-chatting. And I think that, was she just put off at him trying to be, like, cool with her? Oh, he mentioned something about, like, her knowledge base, like the things that she knows.
She's very smart, yeah.
She's like, oh, yeah, so smart. Let me go back. I remember her saying, let me go back through my files. And she sits there, like, looking up. And then she says, you know, Mr. E, you know, his full name, and then like that, like basically rattles it off like it's a police report or something.
Yeah, she got quotes of some sort of report verbatim about the teacher would not disengage with the student and was violent, and Mr. E's like, how dare you? How did you? Don't look. He immediately blows up.
Grabs her.
Shows that anger. Yeah, he shows that anger. He grabs her, and then he apologizes. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So Mr. E, which also is the director of the movie, same guy. Gave himself the juicy role. He's, you know, but I'm thinking to myself, well, if your school knows about this, okay, you're a teacher that's here because you tend to beat the shit out of your students. What better way to make sure that doesn't happen than have you supervise all the misfits out in the middle of nowhere?
Yep.
Especially one of which is a murderer. Z is a murderer. He shoots people.
Which is kind of the problem I have with the ending of this film. Because if you follow the events of the film prior to it all becoming a dream, at least there's some sort of an arc that happens with Z and most of the characters. You know, at least he's trying to...
He almost changes,
but with the reveal of the film, he doesn't. He's just still a sack of shit.
It was all a dream.
He's a terrible character. He's a terrible person.
They just... Off the cuff, he's just like, the two of the girls are talking, and what do they say? He's like,
"Oh, you took a lot of notes, Nick.
I saw
Holy
Z
crap.
shot. I
shot
saw
a guy.
Z shoot a guy, and then the other one responds with,
That's nothing. I stabbed a guy."
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
because
a terrible character.
Yeah. Is it Shannon and Bobby that are talking?
I think so.
Yeah, they're talking on a log.
And so she reveals to Shannon to Shannon that she's pregnant, and then says, I wrote this down. He's gonna beat the shit out of me.
I also wrote that.
That's dark.
Fuck you, Z.
I was like, so that's my big problem though with the character of Z. So let's say you're a guy, you're in your senior year, you're mature looking for your age. If you wanted to work at the rock quarry, nobody would question it. You could get a guy that's going out killing people, beating girls up, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think he's really going to give a shit about staying in school?
No.
Like he's really like, oh, I don't want to get expelled, so I'm going to go ahead.
It's already his second senior year.
It's just they made the character so despicable that I have no reason to believe he would even give a shit about staying in school or showing up 2 times a week to do community service.
Well, listen. Even bad guys like graduation cake.
I mean, that's true.
You're not wrong.
Nobody can say no to cake.
So, did at any point in time, if I missed this, was Z pegged for Bobby's death?
Yes.
Okay.
Shannon believes that he killed her because she's
of the
gone.
Pregnancy.
Yes, because of the pregnancy,
Okay.
and she's gone, and he's covered in her blood.
And for some reason,
I missed that. Even though there's no plot, I missed that.
It's very easy to miss because everyone's shouting at the same time.
That's the moment where they make the reference to what I thought was a reference to Scream. When he says, well, I don't know, how do I know no, you're not in cahoots with God, I can't remember her name, Elaine or Linda, whatever. She gets her head chopped off.
Diana.
God, I don't know why I can't remember that. And he's
She's barely in the movie.
She shows up, just gets her head chopped off. But he's like, why, and so that's the moment they reference the Scream thing. But
right after that, Z mentions or alludes to them. It's either Z or J alludes to them being lesbians.
Yeah.
And then Bobby says, and I quote, I ain't no bush rubber. And it's like, that's not even a good insult because I kept saying it back. I kept saying it back to myself like bush rubber. And to me, I keep hearing bush shrubber.
When they don't know where Linda, God damn, it's not Linda, is it? Why do I keep thinking it's Linda?
Diana.
Oh,
Diana.
When Diana,
Dirty Diana.
and
Like
Shannon,
Wonder Woman.
Diane and Shannon are off having a talk, and they're like, where are they? I think as he says, they're probably tonguing somewhere. was like, tonguing.
Tonguing.
Okay.
There's a lot of
He's a
of
killer.
that.
He's a killer, but he also, talks like he's 12. But
Yeah.
eventually, the rest of the movie is simply these guys are out in this wooded area. They're supposed to be cleaning up the place. They've got garbage bags, yet I see very little garbage. They're
done.
They don't do a lot of picking up of garbage.
I
So
think
they're
Shannon
either really
picks up-
bad or there's just not that much to do. It's
Yeah.
a very
Someone-
clean driveway.
Someone finds like a Nerf football. I mean, that's garbage.
Well, Joe, the Nerf
They
football.
play football.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is a specific Joe thing I referenced. That is the Kubrick shot of the movie, is the Nerf ball. Diana, when she gets killed in a very quick, non-exciting, non-suspenseful way. Her head is lopped off. The killer, Pumpkinhead killer, takes the head, throws it, and the head rolls, boom, 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 and then it cuts immediately to the Nerf ball, football, boom, boom, rolling too. Similar
So
to
we
the
call
bone cutting to the space
2001.
station in 2001. It's a Kubrick shot.
We call that a match cut.
Yep, and let me tell you,
Yep.
you can't be messing with my boy Stanley. I'm none too pleased.
There are two shots in this movie that remind me of much better filmmakers, much better films. One was that cut, and then two, there's a zoom dolly or a zolly. Happens a few seconds before that when what's her name gets her head lopped off. They pulled that off and then they immediately cut her head off. It's almost like, well, we got that shot. It looks good. We don't need to shoot anymore. Just cut her head off. We got the money shot. We got that Zolly, that Jaws shot in the movie.
Yeah, it's all of these these referential these kind of basic things you learn in it. Just ticks every box for oh yeah, and we got to do the match cut. We got to do the dolly
zolly.
zoom. We gotta do all of these things that
We got to
you
do
would
the
find.
slow mo walk towards the camera.
Yeah.
Remember not to break the 180 rule.
Yeah.
No,
So-
they
so
forgot
Kevin's-
that one a couple of times.
Yeah.
So Kevin went to a weekend retreat, a camp for adults to learn how to make films, and then the next weekend they made this movie.
Oh, definitely.
It meanders along between conversations. It's after that Shannon and Bobby sit and talk about how she's pregnant. It's right after that because they're looking for what's her name and they can't find her. And this is also a moment where they kind of bond because they had kind of argued earlier in the movie. And to be honest with you, the reason Shannon starts talking to Bobby is because Bobby's sitting on a log about ready to cut her wrist.
Oh, that's right.
And
She's a
goes,
suicide
don't
case.
do it that way, horizontal, not vertical. And then Shannon shows that, hey, I did it wrong last time. And we find out that Shannon's tried to commit suicide a couple of times with pills and with the blade.
Well, what do they call her?
Suicide case.
Suicide case.
Yeah, suicide case or suicide.
At least one of the times.
Yeah. Well, the first time I think they said suicide girl, and I'm like,
I think they did.
She gets
Oh,
naked.
yeah.
For,
Oh yeah.
Did you say, does that predate
Is that why
Suicide
she a
Girls?
hacker?
I think-
She
yeah,
put
I-
her nudes up before anyone else did.
I don't know when that started, but
She's the CEO of that. That's why she's.
she's the Suicide Girl. Yeah, if you look at their logo, it's actually her.
Maybe the person who founded Suicide Girls watched this movie. Is like, that's a great name.
Yeah, good concept.
He's like, I gotta
More
get something out of
tattoos.
this 30 minutes or 90 minutes I wasted. But when they talk about, they have this conversation about.
Ooh,
and
website
that's-
was founded in 2001. I'm just saying.
Directly after
just
Sleepy
saying.
Hollow High.
Could be a coincidence. Could be something in there. But it's during this conversation between Bobby and Shannon where we find out that, yes, might beat the shit out of her when he finds out that she's pregnant. That's when
What a
he
fella.
talks about Z. I just see Z shoot people. That's when Shannon goes, no, I stabbed a guy once. And then there's this line that I wrote down that Shannon says, referring to men not using condoms. She says, quote, guys, man, they can't keep it covered.
She ain't wrong.
Oh, Nick.
I don't know.
That was a bad one.
No.
If Sarah could hear us.
Yeah, you just let it slide off.
Uh-oh, her face right now.
Well,
Nick, you're in trouble.
know what you said.
See, it's fine.
now you'll have to listen.
Nick's been canceled.
That wasn't your problem. You would listen.
They do Bobby dirty, and I don't appreciate it. I
Yeah.
think they did her dirty when they made her illiterate. I think they did her dirty when not even implied, overtly stated that Z beats the shit out of her, and they
Yep.
do her dirty when they don't give her any sort of an arc and behead her and murder her unborn child.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to come right out and say, I believe the only fight you should have with your girl is a tickle fight.
I agree.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Maybe a Nerf fight?
You know things can go beyond tickling, Joe, right? That's not a home run.
Oh, I thought that was third base right there.
No,
you get
that's
tickle
like
in under the
shortstop.
armpit.
That's like buying the thing in nachos.
Yeah, that's the concession stand.
Yeah, no, you gotta go.
Joe thought third base was tickling, but a home run is a jar in the butt.
No, I thought that
God.
was
That's
just
a
anal.
grand slam.
Quickly.
That's like when you hit it out of the park and it hits somebody's car.
Yeah, and first base is whenever you get to lick her feet.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
she gets beheaded.
I don't
Blood
do jar
sprays
stuff on the
all
first
over
date.
Z, and what I can only
I
assume
do,
is
though.
an attempt at some sort of action. As soon as the horseman cleaves Bobby's head off, he goes for the downward sword slash, and Z very slowly and clumsily is trying to do like that when you're on the ground. You do that leg
helicopter kick.
rollover where you get up really quickly, and it just looks like a fat guy getting up off of like a futon.
It looks like I fell over.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get back up.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a lazy turtle fell on its back, and he's trying to just rock his way back
He
up.
looks like one of those bulldogs that can't quite get up
yeah.
on the couch.
And it gets even worse later because when he faces the horseman a second time, twice he attempts some sort of like football tackle, and apparently the horseman is made out of pure metal.
Yeah, that's his charge. He does his charge attack twice in the boss fight, and it
well,
just,
he jumps. He's got like a 12-foot vertical leap too. The horseman.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
the
he
horseman
does.
does.
Yeah, he's like a jackrabbit.
Yeah, and he has this weird like Nazgul scream.
Yeah.
Or growl.
And he sometimes has his horse, and sometimes he doesn't have the horse.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And I don't want to know what the horse is doing in the meantime.
I don't know, maybe
shitting.
chilling,
If
eating
it-
some berries.
If it truly is a supernatural entity, then it makes sense that it's a supernatural horse. But that kind of, probably by no intention of the filmmakers, leads us to question whether or not it's a supernatural thing. Is this some dude from the high school?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just an oversight from the filmmakers, which is probably the most likely answer.
Ding 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 ding.
I mean, we're supposed to assume through most of the movie that it's Justin, right?
Correct.
I get,
Okay.
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because there's no real
'Cause
red
they see
herrings
him-
otherwise. People keep dying, so.
Well, there's like 2 red herrings earlier in the movie when they are getting ready to go into, I think, Mr. E's car.
Yeah, no, they're getting out of Mystery's car, and he's pulling out a heavy box.
Oh, what you got in here, man? A body, and it slowly zooms in on his face, and then that is dropped.
Mr. E says something to the effect of like, that was the last kid who crossed me.
That was the last student who made me angry.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then it
'cause-
turns out he actually did accost a child.
Yeah, he probably did beat up and kill a child, but this
We
not this
should
one.
probably know what's in that box.
Yes.
I would not rule it out from Mr. E.
Yeah, and then there's another shot where you see Justin fiddling around in his car, and the pumpkin head mask is in there.
Yeah, and that's why they think it's Justin, because it was the Pumpkinhead mask that.
Yeah, we get a weird little flashback.
But if that sequence at the beginning of the film was not overt enough, there is a flashback which emphasizes the thing that everyone obviously
Yeah,
saw,
like-
which was not necessary.
yeah.
In case everyone just fell asleep at the first 30 minutes of the film and
Yeah.
didn't catch that.
Oh wait, it's probably that guy they strung up in the middle of the woods.
And also, I want to say that they tried to make perhaps Mr. Breezo, the teacher they pissed off early, perhaps he could be the killer because
we didn't even talk about him.
because Mr.
Breezo-
Breezo has that moment when the class is over. He's just so angry that they're just so disrespectful.
Why won't these kids listen to me?
Yeah, so he's he's a disgruntled teacher. They're like, well, maybe this was what pushed Mr. Breezo over the edge. Was that?
Mr. Breezo sounds like a bathroom cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like a brand
it?
of like Mr. Sparkle.
Yeah.
But for stinky poops.
Yeah, diarrhea away.
Sure. That's pretty good.
Okay, so I pulled up the note. This is the second time we see Mr. Breezo after we get out of the second dream, right?
Oh god.
Because the second dream is the main dream.
Yeah,
big
there's
one.
2 dreams that she has.
Is it Shannon both time that has the dream?
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's,
Okay,
she's
that's
in
what I
the
thought.
same spots, the same students.
Well, is that the Scream twist? Is that it's not 2 killers, it's 2 dreams?
I mean, that could be the new interpretation of Scream, maybe.
Oh, I
They just
We
spun
could,
it enough.
we could reboot Scream.
Well, anyways,
again.
Mr. Breezo catches a note after we come out of the second
Yeah,
dream
at
towards
the
the end of
end-
the movie.
yeah, at the end of the movie.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's
Oh, I
it's a
can't see it.
caricature of him with his hands in both of his front pockets.
Can you,
like,
Tyler? Can you put it on the
like
big screen?
jammed
So I can see
towards
it?
his pee-pee, and it says Mr. Breezo is pulling a pee-wee.
Yep, that's the only moment in the movie I was entertained, and I laughed out loud and watched it twice.
Oh my god!
I rewound
I
it and
forgot
laughed
about
again.
this.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
wonderful image.
It is because George
God.
Stover, who plays Mr. Breezo's response to it is fantastic too. He's so offended and so shook up by it, and he's like, It's just his reaction is great. The students all laugh. It's a good
Well,
time. It made me miss high school for a moment.
Yeah, he's the only teacher who sewed gloves into his pockets.
I
So
knew
he
a
could touch
kid.
himself,
I knew a
too?
kid in high school that supposedly would cut
no.
out his pockets so he could play with his dick in school. He put his hand in his pocket. That was the rumor.
I didn't know you
anyway.
went to school with Joe.
Well, no, this guy's nickname was Horse because he had a big wiener, so it wasn't Joe.
Oh, okay.
I could draw
That
from the
was
locker room.
that was the story anyway. I didn't know him that well.
His
He
name was Horse.
That was
because
nickname.
of
Well,
those
his nickname was Horse. That was what people called him. And it was understood the reason they called him Horse is because he was well hung.
Yeah, he had a
It's
10-incher.
Yeah, that sounds like the name that he gave himself.
That could be.
Hey, my name is Jim, but people call me Horse because I got a big penis.
It's like in Porky's Meat.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing Mr. Breezo here was the one highlight of the movie.
It was worth it for. Let's see, that's at minute 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not even just the caricature, but just seeing that actor again,
Yeah.
because we've seen him every time he's shown up on the show so far. It's in a movie that we really enjoy.
Yeah.
Call Girl of Cthulhu and
The Chris LaMartina
Which is
films.
Brew.
Witch's Brew. That's right. Yeah. Nick has a
I
question.
have a question. Okay, in the first, seeing Mr. Breezo just brought back a flood of memories. In the first waking classroom dream, when the students are exiting, someone sets half an eaten brownie on his lectern. Did that have any significance, or am I just
no.
an illiterate,
I
illiterate slob?
I put down
who didn't
that-
understand the context.
I think it's a pot brownie because they established that the main character is selling drugs in school.
maybe.
So.
Oh,
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's
So Jay,
that's good enough for me.
So we're supposed to believe that Z is at home baking brownies. The same dude.
maybe.
I mean, he's shooting
Maybe he's
people,
got
baking brownies, beating.
Yeah, but these are
girls.
drug brownies. These are
maybe
cool.
he makes Bobby do this.
Yeah,
He's
these
a
are
pretty old fashioned
Poor
piece of
Bobby.
shit. Hey, listen, I'm just saying. Bobby she's done some reprehensible things
Oh, Bobby,
on the first
yeah.
10 minutes of the movie.
Who hasn't? We all have.
A better twist of this movie would have been at the end. It's revealed that Z is the principal. I would have loved that so much more. He's having sex and beating up teenage girls.
Well, to be fair-
he's cooking pot brownies, giving it to teachers and students alike. He just rules the roost.
To be fair, Tyler, the movie never really ended, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
still
true.
possible it could happen.
No, what I was thinking about Z is he's not when Bobby says she's pregnant. You know, he doesn't beat her up, but he doesn't take it very well. He's like, oh man. He's upset about it. Of course, he says, is it mine? And she says, of course it's yours. And this and this and this. And while he's processing it, Z only gets to process it for several seconds before the problem is actually completely obliterated by Bobby being beheaded.
Oh, right, that's terrible.
I mean,
No, what I'm saying
yeah,
is
it
The
is, but
problem is obliterated.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying is Z is probably thinking because he never brings it up. He never acts
Yeah.
upset about Bobby's death. And we already know he's the kind of dude, he's shooting people, beating her up. He's a bad dude.
Yeah.
So he never
didn't
brings it
care
up
about
again.
her.
I would have, if anybody else was been writing this, when they had those slow moments, those quiet moments, he could have had a moment of introspection while they're sitting around the fire and talk about Bobby's death and then brought that up. I was going to be a father. And there could have been an emotional moment for that character. But you all know in Z's mind, he's like, oh, well, you know. Because
Yeah, at
he's a
least I don't
piece
have to go to Disney.
because he's a piece of shit. It's established he's a murderer and he beats women. So I can't imagine.
at least in Shannon's dreams, he is.
I can't imagine. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Is who knows? He might not be that bad a guy, but in Shannon's subconscious, he's a super piece of shit.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Oh.
What?
Now that you say that, is she just, is it a reflection of her own racism?
Ooh, could be.
Yeah, maybe he's just chilling at home. He's playing some Madden football.
No, but I just mean like her interpretation of Z.
Yeah, he could be a good dude for all we know.
I think you're
A
giving
video
too
gamer.
much credit to the writers of this movie.
This is the foundations of a movie. It's not even the foundations of a good movie.
This
it's
is
just,
a first draft.
This is the framework of any film.
Yeah, like this could work. This could work fine.
Everything we saw would probably have been in like the first 40 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
the
yeah.
rest of it would have been set at the school where it belonged.
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow High.
Yeah.
Like,
They get there's a I don't know, there's a Halloween dance. And the Headless Horseman is there, but nobody knows who he is, and it's kind of like Hellfest. You can steal from that a little bit.
oh, I like the idea of the Horseman being like
Everybody's in costume.
like a Freddy Krueger style of villain.
Ooh.
And the kids are outside. They've run out of the gym. There's blood everywhere. Oh my gosh, what's happening? And then their prized school stallion is screaming from the barn that's attached to the school. And they go in there, and the horseman is on his horse, and that horse is plowing the other horse.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That
would
went a
be
different
terrifying.
direction than what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's what we're missing from independent slasher films. There's not enough horse sex.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said. Yeah, I've been saying that for a decade.
Yeah, you've
More
just been saying
horse
that in our
sex.
everyday
It
lives.
depends on how you define independent film. I mean, there is video
Yeah,
proof of it out
yeah.
there. Yeah.
So, and we should say most of this movie, most of all the horror, if you will, of this film is taking place in the afternoon in daylight.
Yes,
It's all
broad
happening in daylight, except for the very last little bit of action.
Well, the very beginning and the very end.
I'd like to say, I mean, it's a good thing that most of the movie takes place during the daytime because you can't see a lick of anything during the nighttime
That's
shots.
true.
Oh, I love the idea that the cast is like, I will absolutely not go into the woods at night. It's fucking freezing. There's mosquitoes. And so they had to rewrite their script and just set it all. They didn't even rewrite it. They just said, okay, we'll go from 8 until 4 during the day.
Because it's easier. It's cheaper. They don't have to light anything.
So right after Bobby is killed, Z gets back towards the
car.
The car, yeah, and he gets his gun.
Yeah.
And he pulls
Yeah,
it on
he gets
Mr.
his
E
gun.
right away.
And then we have this goofy moment where
Slapstick.
where Z's pointing the gun at Mr. E's face, and Mr. E's going cross-eyed and going.
Wide angle lens, so we see all of it.
He's doing this goofy bit, and again, like missed moments with characterization, like Z being remorseful for how his treatment of Bobby and everything. We could have had a moment to see in Mr. E's dark side.
Yeah.
He's confronted with his gun. We know Mr. E has an anger issue. We could have seen Mr. E like it'd have been kind of cool if Mr. E would have been able to like disarm Z. And maybe
Oh,
Yeah, he
no,
just
I think it
breaks
would have
his
been
hand.
better if he had his own gun and just fucking shot
Or
Z
maybe
right in the head.
he starts
Yeah.
to confess to
That'd
what
be
he's
interesting.
done.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
That's true. I did it.
Now, following the scene, I think I maybe bent down to like pet a cat or something, and I missed something which caused a transaction of the bullets in Z's gun. I don't understand what happened there.
So
Why does Z he keeps the gun but gives all the bullets away?
Because Mr. E's like, you got to give me that thing. You got to give me. He's like, no, I'll give you the bullets. I'm keeping my
he
piece.
has the gun. Why would he negotiate at all?
Well, then
I
he
think-
won't get to go to graduation.
Or prom,
or
depending
prom.
on what scene it is.
Or he'll get community service.
the way I took it, Z wanted to compromise for the situation. Z also knows he's got extra couple of bullets in his pocket. So he's still going to be safe. He's going to defuse the situation, but he's not going to give up his gun because he's probably not legally able to have that gun. And that's another reason to go to prison. So he's like, all right. We got it.
Yeah.
I'll give you my bullets, knowing back in his mind, I still have plenty of bullets. I'll still be able to protect myself. But
Well, he said he had 4 bullets.
Yeah,
4 bullets.
4 bullets in his pocket.
Oh my. Okay, so I'm actually watching this back in real time, Ryan. So after Z walks away, Mr. E kind of bounces the bullets around his hand, puts in his pocket, and then the camera just goes in for this obscene close up. It just lingers on him, and then it fades out. It's like we didn't know what to do.
There's a lot of that. There's Mr. Breezo. His little fit that he throws is very similar, where it just kind of sits on him
Yeah.
for a bit, and he just takes a breath.
I think it's just an attempt to build up,
Got to get to 80 minutes.
some sort of that or some sort of suspense.
Got to get to 80 minutes.
Like, we're lingering on it. Maybe this will come back. Maybe this is something. Pay attention, guys, to this. Or pay attention to
Yeah.
Mr. Breezo's face. Pay attention to.
they're setting up a lot of red herrings that go nowhere.
Yeah. So Mr. E says, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to find. They're still looking for Diana at this point because they don't know Diana's dead.
right.
We do, the audience, but we don't know that Diana's dead. So they're like, look, we're going to go find Diana and then we're going to get her and then we're going to get the hell out of here. And so the teacher, Mr. E, goes looking for Diana. He, of course, is attacked by the headless horseman. He puts up a good fight.
Well, hold on a second. He sees. He's trundling up and down these hills in the woods, and he sees up the hill this figure that is very clearly the Horseman actor, literally flailing his arms and doing big leg walks like Jack Skellington from
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before
He
Christmas.
looks like when Obi-Wan Kenobi shows up. And
Woo! Yeah. Woo! And
Hello there.
he immediately
of
shouts,
course I do.
"Diana, Bobby, it's me, Mr. E."
He's me.
Of course I do. He's me.
He's me.
So sorry. I just had to point that out because I just remember seeing that the silhouette of this lanky skeleton man going.
You know what? Maybe this is actually the origin of the Slender Man.
He's doing like a Monty
Could be.
Python silly walk.
But basically,
That's why he rides a horse. He's embarrassed of his walk. It was the way he was born, guys. Come on.
He's got one leg is longer than the other.
And he always has to twirl this arm.
If I ride a horse all the time, they'll be impressed by my horsemanship, and they won't know I've got one leg longer than the other.
Well, no, he keeps his
Just
legs
tuck it up
open
there.
because he hates it when his balls brush up against his legs. So that's his whole issue, really.
That's why he's so angry.
It doesn't prevent him from jumping 10 feet in the air.
Well, basically,
he
he
bounces
just
on
fights
them.
with Mr. E. Mr. E puts up a fight, but he gets his arm cut off. And then we have
Yes.
another Scream-esque shot where right when
He's wearing Zuba's pants.
right when he's going to kill him, you see the reflection of it in his glasses.
Oh,
In Scream,
yes.
it's in Henry Winkler's eye, but in this movie,
Yeah.
the reflection is in his glasses. So, and then
Yeah.
Mr. E is dead, and so now we're just left with
Oh, we get a pretty sick shot of the sword stuck in the ground
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
sun's rays.
And so now at this point, all we got left, we got Z, we got not Jenny, Shannon, Jen.
Shannon, Z, and J. Yeah.
And now it's nighttime proper. It's dark. They've created a very large bonfire, which pisses Z off because he's like, it's gonna get the Pumpkinhead Man.
Put it out, you fool!
I really wish someone would have said to Z, we got some nice crispy bacon.
It's morning
But
breakfast.
there is a moment to it. Again, this goes back to the fact that Z has no fucking emotions to what's happened. He's lost his girlfriend. He's lost
Doesn't care.
his unborn child. He does not give a shit. He is more occupied with playing a knife game where he's throwing a knife into the ground, trying to get to
Oh God,
three
that's right.
shots of him doing that. And he's getting legit mad that he can't do. He's damn it. And he tries it again. Damn it. Like he's more invested in some sort of fucking game with his knife than he is in any of the situations that have just happened.
in the midst of this fireside chat, ding, 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 he has a flashback to Justin putting the jack-o'-lantern mask into his car. I don't remember this. Can somebody give me context here?
That's towards the beginning of the movie when they are leaving the high school to come here. They see that exact shot of Justin fiddling with something in the back end of his trunk.
Yep.
And the pumpkin head is in there for some reason.
Gotcha.
Now at the very beginning of the movie, Z is wearing that
To scare him.
Excuse me. To God damn! I've got so much soda and water in me. I'm sorry, it's coming out.
Sleepy Hollow High.
But he wears it. Yeah, he wears it for about 10 seconds on screen, and then he immediately takes it off and just throws it on the ground. And I guess Justin just kind of kept it.
Yeah, it was left there. It was
Okay.
by his
Like a
car. It
souvenir
would have
of
been by
his
his car
beating.
when he got on.
Yeah, like
And that's
Maybe it's the type of thing where it's the cycle of bullying. Justin thinks Z is really cool, so he's going to take that, and then he's going to go home and bully somebody.
Yeah, he's gonna go bully a kindergartner. That's the only person weaker than him.
yeah,
But that kindergartner would be played by a
by a
14-year-old.
15-year-old. Yeah, Tom Holland plays that kindergarten.
I still didn't know that Justin was the guy from the beginning. I didn't know what his name was or didn't caught it. And so when they're standing there and they're talking about it's that scrawny kid, Justin, I know it's Justin. And then he has the flashback, and I'm like, why are they showing that teacher and calling him the scrawny kid Justin? And that's when
Yeah,
it hit
there's
me.
no
That was
scrawny
supposed to
person
be-
in this.
That was supposed to be a high school kid, and that's when I sent the message and was angry.
This guy looks like Ice Cube stand-in.
Yeah, he's
Well, it's like if Ice Cube, 21 Jump Street style, infiltrated a high school.
No, it's like if Ice Cube melted and then they just called him Cold Puddle.
Oh my God,
Cold.
cold puddle.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah,
I'll
that's
give
a
him
good
that one.
Yeah, that's not bad.
you're trying, Joe. You're trying to be clean, and I appreciate it.
Good that they shot on 16 millimeter because it's not fully grainy. This is a 600 megabyte rip of this movie, and it still doesn't even look that bad. Like,
Yeah, you had talked up like, just wait for the DVD version; it'll be better.
But
And
it sounds terrible.
oh, it does.
It sounds like a Burger King drive-through.
yeah,
it
but
does-
it looked fine.
But it does seem like they're trying to match Moonlight. Like they're trying to get some of those fundamentals right. Like
Some
Kevin-
things are good.
Kevin took notes at that
retreat
camp.
he went to.
Yeah.
Well, that's where he learned the most, because they probably did have a campfire at the camp. It probably was a legit camp with fire, and he learned to light through the fire. So that end of the movie, or the end of, at night battling the Pumpkinhead Man, it is lit, if you will, by the campfire. And it's somewhat believable that, yes, it is being lit by the campfire.
Oh, yeah,
didn't
this
look
guy
bad.
learned
It's
a
not
lot from
terrible
AV Club.
looking.
Oh, sorry.
Swords in the Fire. We're watching it back
the
right now.
movie. Let's just stop and watch it
captivated.
again. It's a great film.
Oh God.
But the Pumpkinhead Man shows up. There's a fight. Jay is killed in the fight, and
Yeah.
Z
No.
has a battle. Z does this charge at the camera, at us,
Oh.
at Pumpkin Man. He keeps getting his ass kicked, but he keeps fighting.
I forgot that his sword catches fire.
Yes, and that's
Yeah,
kind of
Part
a
of
fun
this.
bit.
Yeah,
Where
that
he's
was pretty cool.
Holding the flaming blade.
It's stupid, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nick's
I mean,
okay.
it was dumb in the Scorpion King
Nick-
too, but
Nick being a prop man, like that had to have been being fed like a gas, right?
I guarantee you they did not have
soaked.
like propane in there. They probably covered it in oil or something.
Really?
Probably the same way
Yeah,
we
you
lit
can
you
do
on
that.
fire, but
'Cause
yeah.
well, as he spins it, it slowly starts to go out. But if he stops, it goes fully ablaze.
yeah,
which is why.
if that were propane, it would probably be more consistent when he's
Okay.
doing that. But
You
if
think
it's
that
just
gel that they
like oil or
slathered?
something, or like sterno, then yeah, it's probably.
Gotcha.
I guarantee you they did not create a custom rig for this
Maul sword.
for this maul sword.
How do you,
was gonna
Maybe
say-
it was built in.
Maybe the
swords
budget
did
went
they
into
have?
the sword and nothing else.
How many swords do you think they had for this movie?
They had
One.
they had absolutely one sword. Ryan.
That probably broke halfway through.
They had one sword. They had one pumpkin mask.
Yeah, a guy who looked like Joe accidentally broke it.
They had one
And their
actor,
prep
and then they
master
had
had to
multiple
fix it.
people on screen.
I will say that I like the pumpkin mask, and I'm okay with the weird ratty costume. I think it's okay. I'm a little disappointed because I'm certain that pumpkin mask came from probably the same mall as the sword.
Oh yeah.
But just looking at it,
They went to the
it's
first
cool.
Spirit Halloween.
If they made it themselves, then yay, it's neat. But I'm not gonna give them that much credit.
And to cut through this moment, Z shoots him.
Bang!
Yeah, he's got his 4 bullets, but he only shoots 3 times. So I don't know what he
I
did
shot
with
him 6 times, damn it!
He was saving that last one for himself.
that. Perhaps.
Yeah.
No, knowing Z, he would have shot Shannon and just been like, I'm out of here. And no witnesses. Now I'm going to go to another town because he's a heartless fucker.
They get faked out. Jay goes over to the body to check it out, gets stabbed, snap zoom on Shannon. No. And
Now it's going to kill me. No.
yeah, Z gets hit with what is that? Like is it a dagger
Fucking
or a
shuriken?
sword?
It's a Morgul blade.
Yeah. King's foil.
I can't. When I was watching
that wound
this,
will never heal.
when I was
That's right.
watching this movie, I couldn't help thinking that this movie is only 80 minutes long, and
But
I
it
just
feels
watched
like 800.
Yeah, I just watched Lord of the Rings like a couple weeks ago, and I just kept thinking like Lord of the Rings is like a 6-hour movie, and like it you never get tired of it. Like when it's over, like oh, it's already over. I want to watch more of that.
Yeah.
But like 20 minutes into this, I just keep checking the time, like, and I just kept comparing this
gotta be
film
almost
to the
done.
Fellowship
Yeah.
of the Ring for some reason, and kept making references to
There's a
try
lot of
to
similarities.
make jokes to myself to get me through it.
This movie almost stopped the podcast before it even started.
Well, yeah, at one point I paused it and I was like, 25 more minutes? And it had only been on an hour at that point, not even.
Maybe it's got maybe a really, really long credit sequence. Like they included everybody who looked at the film.
And here
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, so the weird thing is that it looks like Z has met his match. He's finally going down. And I think Shannon begs for the thing to stop, and then it just hard cuts, and she's back in the classroom again, and she apparently had a second dream in the classroom.
This entire movie was a dream.
Okay, so that's hour and 9 minutes into this. There's more than 10 more minutes left. So it's like the movie's fucking over. But no.
I was waiting for a third dream. I was waiting for a third dream sequence.
And then we get
more
about
school shots.
2 minutes of stock footage of children leaving, or high school kids leaving the school.
More idling
Kind of
buses.
sounds like a Styx song or something. It sounds like the end sounds like a Styx song, and then there's like this gross, like grungy, sludgy song at the beginning, set to images of buses. A lot of interesting musical choices in this.
Now the music over the credits sounds like an old Zelda,
Yeah.
like some town tune you'd seen on an N64
So
game.
she wakes up and it's a dream. So
Again.
apparently it's all a dream with the exception of the jogger being killed.
Yeah.
Because they don't go to detention, or I mean, they don't go to it's all complete. So her entire thing was a dream. The having to go to the principal was a dream. The being given community service was a dream, and everything that happened afterward, that was all a dream because they leave, they go home. She's walking home, having a conversation with
Well, she's waiting outside for Diana.
Yeah.
And as she's doing that, we come upon this scene with the class clown, I guess, wearing a different pumpkin head mask.
Wearing the basketball Jones
and he's
head.
doing like weird slapstick shit. Yeah.
gonna get you. And what's funny
He
is
tries to
during
spook
that
her.
sequence, and maybe this goes to the theory that in this dream, keep looking, Shannon has a very different perception of her fellow students than what they really are, because for as badass and as awful as Z is, after school, he just likes to stand outside while his friend throws a basketball at the, because that's what he's doing in the background. He's doing this innocent like game.
His friend is really big. I'm guessing that is the guy that played the
Horseman.
The Horseman.
Antonio,
he's
something or other.
Because he's really tall.
Yeah.
He's like a foot and a half taller than Z. Not that that's hard to be. But then we're following Diana and Shannon in this one. I don't know if is this a one take. This really. Oh no, it's not.
They come back to it later though.
The whole point of them, they're just chit chatting, is two things. One, so Diana can make a joke out of the idea that does she get to be in the sequel of Shannon's dream? Haha, you get it, sequel horror movie. And then they point out that what's the principal's name?
I don't know.
Principal, not quite British.
Mr. Vernon,
Mr.
Vernon.
Allen, I think is his name.
Mr. Allen.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so they point out, it looks like Mr. Allen or the principal got home early.
Oh,
but then their
yes.
conversation goes on for like another minute and a half before the camera slowly pans to what you think is like going to do that end of sweep shot up to the sky. Nope, we're going into the house where we see the big reveal, I guess.
Well, I thought the big reveal was going to be that, like, this walk home is maybe a dream or something. There's a weird dream sequence, and like maybe
we snap back to her. In
no,
the woods.
just like end of Nightmare on Elm Street. I think is it the first one where
the
they're
mom
in the
gets
car.
sucked up in the window.
Yeah, there's like some weird like waking dream thing there. Like maybe
They
like
don't
oh no,
have
I'm
the
still in the
creativity
dream.
for that, Nick.
But
Come
no, it
on.
ends. It goes to a man clipping coupons.
Yep.
No, I think he's clipping out another article about a missing child.
No, it's coupons.
What?
Yeah, no, if you buy one missing child, you get one free.
I'm lying.
Oh,
but-
okay. Fuck you.
You can't see Nick's face right now, but I can. He's being a goof.
Yeah, it
Thank
cuts.
spring.
It cuts to the shitty principal, and it turns out he's the one that is cutting out the articles of missing people that we saw during the opening credit sequence. And he's also got his sleeves are rolled up to show that he's got a tattoo, and and right when he starts to look toward the camera, it fades to black.
Yeah.
So I was expecting for him to look at the camera and make a smirk or something, but and maybe the actor did, but as his eyes start to look up, boom, it fades to black, and then we credits.
They ran out of film at that exact moment.
Yeah, no, he looks directly into the camera and he says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch."
But my problem with that whole thing is there is no abduction.
Yeah. No one is
This
being
was
kidnapped.
a dream. The only thing that was real, the only thing in this movie that really happened was the jogger getting killed.
So here's the thing. I think I've got it, guys. This movie is labeled as 90 minutes. Originally, this entire film was a PSA about PTSD that students face when they don't get talked to by the school when things happen like children getting abducted. So this town is full of teenagers or whatever getting abducted, possibly killed, and it's such a problem, a prevalent problem, that Shannon is so affected by it that she dreams about it. And so that's my angle. You can't prove it any other way. Fuck you.
Sure.
I will take it because if we're supposed to take the movie at what the information that it gives us, that everything was a dream except for the person being killed at the beginning, there's a story that we didn't get. We didn't get an abduction story.
Yeah.
So I don't care about the principal abducting people. That's not what the movie ended up being about. It's a whole other story. I mean, it might as well started with a kid wanting to get good at football, even though he was shorter than anybody else. Then we've got a dream sequence about an entire other movie, and then it bookends with the kid going on like Rudy and winning the football game. Two totally different stories. It bookended with a principal abducting people. but the killer movie in the middle has nothing to do with that. They never reference anybody ever being abducted outside of the clippings.
Yeah, if we're led to believe that the principal is some nefarious entity, just clipping out articles of newspaper and putting them in the book doesn't necessarily imply you've done something. Like that's not enough. I don't feel like that's enough for the audience to condemn this man, because anyone could just, hey, I'm going to document this for history or something.
Doing research for a true crime podcast he's working on.
They don't. There's no payoff.
Maybe?
There's no like pumpkin mask in his room. There's
exactly.
no.
He's just if you look at just his scenes in this movie, he is kind of a jerk principal, sure,
And he's faking a British accent.
and he's faking an accent, and then he's clipping out.
But this lighting, guys.
I
this
know.
lighting.
He's just bored.
They could only afford to bring the one.
He's got the orange, the light orange spotlight on him.
This looks like those tapes in Sinister.
Tyler, that's because they only had one, probably like a 1K to light every scene.
Or candle.
yeah.
They had a
You can
candle.
see it from every time they're indoors. You can see the shadows on the wall because
They had one light.
exactly one light they were able to rent from the
And they
film
had Kevin's
school.
mom's house
Yeah.
to do this. Because this is clearly an old woman's house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's just plastic on all the furniture and cats running amok.
It just tells a sad story about the principal. I mean, he's
He doesn't make enough money to live on his own.
and he's
He's
just
caring
bored.
for his dying mother.
Maybe he doesn't have cable, so he just has to clip coupons out of the
Well, I
newspaper.
guess I'll
He
clip
puts-
out some more kids that
Maybe-
I'm supposed to be
maybe
responsible
he's
for
trying
who
to
were abducted.
Maybe he's trying to solve the
Maybe
the
his
abductions.
daughter was kidnapped.
Oh.
Yeah,
Maybe he's just a town historian.
Yeah.
Maybe he
wears two hats
volunteers
in
at
this
the
town.
genealogical
Yeah.
society.
I respect him
because some of the clippings were about the blizzards. Some of the clippings were about
Spring
the
is
elections.
spring is coming. Think spring, I think was one of them. Even though it's Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he takes his shirt off and like puts the cat's wet can supper on him and just let the cats eat it.
Joe's still
For
on this
company.
cat bit.
Joe, he was sitting there. He was sitting there holding on to it.
I wanted to let you guys speak.
just a couple more minutes, Joe,
appreciate
and
it.
you can do all the cat stuff you want.
All right, so that is Hollywood. What is it? Hollywood and horror.
Sleepy
Halloween
Hollow
night.
Eye.
Sleepy Hollow High.
Halloween Horror
Sleepy
Nights.
Sleepy Hollow
The
High.
most forgettable first episode of anything.
Oh my god!
This is just like the 13th Friday, all over again.
just a bunch of terrible characters, just with no remorse. So yeah, benevolent to malevolent. Traditionally, how do
I think Joe goes first.
Yeah, yeah, I
typically.
do.
we always start with Joe first?
believe
forgot
so.
from
Well,
last week already.
let's shirk tradition. Joe can
Oh.
go last. He can
Okay.
give us the
Yeah,
real nail
he
in the
can-
okay.
coffin here.
Yeah.
All right, so Trevor, your review, benevolent to
Oh
malevolent.
boy. Well, clearly this is a malevolent movie. I don't know. There's no beating around the bush, really. This
Yeah.
was pretty terrible. I don't even know that I would recommend it in our caveat setting of, well, if you got a bunch of your friends around
No.
and you're looking to have a few laughs, go watch Witch's Brew or
Yes.
Yeah.
any La Martina movie, or just watch a good movie. Go watch Popstar. I watched that again recently and I loved it. Yeah, this movie sucks. It's malevolent. Don't bother. Yeah, that's it. Nick, what do you think about this? Pile.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with malevolent. I don't know. I mean, there's very few good remarks I can give this film. I'd struggle to say that some of it may have been competently executed,
Sure.
but that is setting the bar incredibly low and in a way that means absolutely nothing to the overall film itself.
Would you give this
So-
credit if you actually knew it was a student film?
Yes, I think I would, but it depends on
How
Did
old
that
the
s-
students were.
did that student graduate yet, or
Is this high school student, college student?
if this were like a high school,
oh, this is a
film,
high school production.
very,
This is incredible.
very competent. If,
This is incredible.
It's just
Oh yeah, they're all 10th year seniors.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
of course.
this-
Well, there is a movie. There is a movie that exists that was made by a high school. The Giant Spider Invasion. The entire movie was made by a high school.
Put it on the list.
this ain't that.
Yeah, same.
So I'm gonna go with malevolent.
Ryan, what do you think? If we're gonna have Joe be our nail in the coffin here, you're up next. What do you think?
Oh, it's malevolent through and through. There's no reason to watch this. I had no reason unless you want to watch it, unless you've listened to this podcast without seeing the movie and you just want it for context and you had a good time listening to us and you're like, I gotta see this. That'd be the only reason.
Yeah.
There is no entertainment value in it. I laughed once, and that was at George Stover's PP thing, the pulling on his wiener joke.
Oh yeah, his PP hurts.
And you just heard it here, so you don't need to watch the movie.
You know what? I'll put that image in the cover image for YouTube, so you can just look at that and be done.
Yeah, that's it. That's the best part, guys.
But it's just it's not fun in a group. It's not fun by yourself. It's not fun drunk.
It's definitely not fun by yourself. I'll tell you that much.
Oh God, it's you don't need to see it.
No.
It will give you nothing. There are plenty of low budget shoestring movies, slasher movies, even from the year 2000 that are better than this. That are also shit, but may have more rewatch value for comedy. There's a movie that's kind of reminded me of, just because I had the Pumpkinhead thing and the way it looked and sounded. Jacko, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a terrible movie, but it is tons of fun and a lot funnier and that's the movie you want to watch with your friends and stuff that's similar to this. Watch Jacko. Do not watch Sleepy Hollow High.
Yeah.
It's fucking trash. Malevolent.
Very good. Well, Tyler, you've been talking a lot. Do you want to give a rating?
Well, I would prefer Joe go first because
Sure.
I think I've got a shtick I want to do.
Oh boy! All right. So Joe, that leaves it to you. What do you
Well,
think?
no, I was going to say it's definitely Malevolent, but I think the biggest issue with it was that it didn't earn its dream ending. And I'm not even a person who dislikes that it was all a dream ending. I mean, one of my favorite movies does this, which is Mulholland Drive. But with that thing, the whole 2 hours before it's a dream is dream-like. It's very unreal.
Right.
With this, it feels like they just kind of wrote it in at the last hour
They didn't know
and
what
just
else to
put
do.
it in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, this is definitely, it's not competent at all, and it's boring. And no, I didn't care for it.
So Malevolent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's for
You
Malevolent.
have 4 so
It's a
far.
sweep.
All right. What's your stick?
So here's I feel compelled, and maybe this is my position on every episode. I will take devil's advocate approach.
Oh boy.
Okay, guys, I saw this movie 10 years ago.
Sure.
I have good memories of it. So it was worth it for that. So here's my recommendation. Watch the movie 10 years ago and don't watch it again.
Perfect.
That's the only way to watch Sleepy Hollow High and have good memories of it.
Yeah.
Because up until last night when I watched it, I had great memories of it. I wish I hadn't watched it. And it was a great film in my mind then.
Tyler, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't think we finished watching the film that night. I don't remember watching any, probably
Okay.
3/4 of the film.
I'll be honest. As I was watching it last night, I was asking myself, I don't remember any of this shit. Basically, after Bobby dies.
I'm pretty sure we turned it off. I'm pretty sure your dad kicked us out of the house.
That might have happened. So,
Listen, a lot of things could happen 10 years ago.
yes. So, Devil's Advocate, watch 10 years ago. Don't watch it again. You're good. What is it, Kevin? Is that his name?
Kevin
Kevin,
Summerfield.
yes.
Kevin Summerfield.
Come on the show.
Okay.
He's on Facebook.
I'll be honest, Kevin. You kind of owe us. Like, you got to fucking explain this shit.
Oh.
And I don't want to pay $15 to get the DVD so I can listen to your commentary because it's probably full of lies. All right, and I'm not saying that because like I get it. On your commentary, you got to make it as interesting as possible because you're selling your brand, you're selling the things you do. Kevin, come on the show. I want to hear from you. If we can make Malevolent Movies, the podcast, about getting these directors on the show, oh my god,
that'd be great.
All into it.
Usually when we watch something bad like this, I feel anger toward the people involved. I'm angry a lot of times at the filmmakers.
Price.
Justin Price, I get real angry. But for some reason, as much as I hated this movie, I hated it because it just sucked. I didn't hate it because I don't know. I'm not mad at Kevin. I'm not mad
If
at
Kevin
it.
didn't play
I'd love to
Mr.
talk to him
E,
about the
it would be way worse. His performance as Mr. E gave him some clout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one feels like just a matter of circumstance. Like
Yeah.
they just couldn't shoot at night because of X and Y and Z. So it's all in the daytime. Like they only had 16mm cameras. They could only shoot this much. They could only had everybody for so much time. That's kind of what it felt like. This didn't feel like just a piece of shit from top to bottom. This felt like a decent movie that just didn't really come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any
Which
ill
is
will for the
it's just
people
fine.
involved.
I get it. That makes sense. Shit,
Which is rare.
we got a movie like that.
Yeah,
That's fine. We got a
two,
couple
maybe
of
three.
we got 2.5 movies like that.
It'd make more sense if this film were just improvised from start to finish.
Yeah,
It probably would have been better.
probably.
I'm thinking it's Sleepy Hollow capital letters, hi.
Oh shit!
Yep. Yeah. I want the jack-o'-lantern has a huge doobie hanging out of its mouth the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
my God.
Yeah, he goes to Verilife, let me tell you. Yeah, I'll share a couple edibles of the
Hold
jack-o'-lantern.
on a second, Joe. Are we getting sponsored? Where's the money?
I will.
I know they
I
got
will
it. They
give
got
you some
lines
of
out the
my
door every day.
edibles.
All right, there it is, everybody. The first episode of Malevolent Movies, the podcast with
we did
Sleepy
it.
Hollow High. Hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, and you're new to the channel, make sure to like it and hit the bell icon and subscribe. Also, head on over to our other channel, our podcast channel, The Man with No Brain. If you enjoy these audio excursions and like that and share it, by all means, you know, that's pretty much the name of the game. If you like anything you've heard at any point, share it. Let other people know, because we've shared it to everyone we know. Nobody's biting, so it's up to you. It's up to you guys. Our friends and family don't give a fuck
they don't
anymore. It's
give
up to
a fuck.
you.
They know what we do, and they're fine with it.
Oh, yeah, I made my father listen to it.